Hey guys, this is Caleb with DSLR Video Shooter. I've been working on the GH4 guide, and recently I was testing the time-lapse capabilities, which are awesome on this camera. You can shoot a time-lapse and create a 4K video from that in camera, which is incredible. So to do this, I was doing a couple tests, and one was just a time-lapse of me tearing down and putting the studio back together. And I realized I've made some changes in the studio since I last did a video on how I set this space up. So I wanted to show you guys the time-lapse, which we'll look at in a second, and then walk you through that and show you the modifications I've made. And I've done a couple things like adding some flags and showing you how I did that. I have a new system for my silk and getting soft light with my Alzo 3000s, some little grip tools here and there, and then how I'm doing my background light and my hair light. So yeah, so let's go ahead and we're gonna take a look at the time-lapse, and then I'll hit you up over at the computer and we'll run through kind of what's new in the studio. Okay, so here I have the time-lapse, and I'm just gonna run through it, and we're gonna take a look at some of the new things that I'm adding to the studio and kind of look at the setup as a whole. So here we see I've kind of changed my background. I used to use just the white wall back here, but now you can see I've added this drop background, and this is a nice gray, and it's been working really nice. And the reason I switched was I wanted something a little darker. I also wanted to be able to see the background light, which we'll see a little bit later, and that really allows me to shape light and really be able to see the background light. Before, it was kind of washing out into the background. So if we jump ahead here a little bit, there's a couple new things I've been using. Make sure I'm not looking like a dork. The first is I got a couple more C-stands. So I had two, I bought a third one, and there's a new diffusion system I'm using, which we'll see here in a second. And to mount that, I'm using this guy right here. And here's kind of an image of it blown up, and it's a Methylene Ii Clamp. Now this is fantastic because you can use it in really hundreds of different ways, but the way I'm using it is, you can see I have it at the end of my C-stand arm here, and that's going to allow me to hold this frame that will have my diffusion on it. So let's go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. You see me throwing things together. Just wanted to note right here, a lot of people really like to know what I use to mount multiple lights on one stand. And this is a triple header or a baby triple from Matthews. I wanted a double header, baby double header, which only has 2 studs, but they didn't have them in stock when I purchased this, so I got the 3, which is nice. You can mount a ton of different stuff on there, and that allows me to mount both of my Alzo 3000s. Now, here you see me building up this frame here. This is a really awesome frame. It's really affordable. It's so easy to put together. And you can see under my armpit here, I've got this crossbar, which will mount to the center of this frame. It's really light. It's made out of a really tough plastic, packs down to nothing, super light. Love it to pieces. And there's a couple different things and modifiers you can buy to go over this. I'm going to be using a silk for this particular setup, but I also have a flag or a completely black side, and then there's also a white bounce surface, which is fantastic. So this is going to be used for diffusion, and I'll have a link to all this stuff, of course, on the website, so make sure you check that out. So here you can see me slowly mounting it, and I just keep fine-tuning it. My goal is to shoot the light through the silk and get a nice even light on my subject or myself, and not to have any harsh edges on the background. So sometimes, you know, if you don't set up your lights right, this part of the backdrop will get light, but then you'll have this nasty shadow area here. So you want to really minimize that and try to get a nice even soft light, which looks great on talent. So you can see it's a little wonky here. I slowly fine tune it until I get it where I want. And you also want to keep an eye on the actual background as I'm shaping this thing. So you can see it's right here, it's too dark until I finally get it lined up where I want it. Next, we use the background light here. You can see me set it up a stand for that. Same lights as I've used before, and then the background light. And I'm using a C100 to film these days. I'll do another post as to why I'm using that camera. And it also allows me to get the GH4s in the shot, which is great. So this is really cool. This is very simple. This light system is fantastic because you get all this soft light. The problem is it spills all over this background, and we don't really want this whole thing washed out. We want our background light, which is down here, to get a really nice light on the actual background. So what I have done here is I've taken another C-stand, threw an arm on it, and then clamped on just really simple black foam board. And you'll see me here in a second go ahead and set that up to where I block that light. And let me see if I can find the exact frame, and I show you a before and after. So I'm getting it in place here. So there's without. You can see there's a ton of light hitting on this side of the entire screen. And if I go forward, you can see I'm blocking that off just by simply adding this piece of black foam core. So before, lots of spill; after, nice and controlled. So you can't have enough of that stuff. I keep it tucked away behind this really messy table, and I've got a couple of those, and those are fantastic for blocking spilled light. So once that's done, there's only a few other modifications I made. One is adding just a little bit of a frost filter to that hair light. That really kind of knocks down that nasty, harsh light that you can sometimes get, and kind of gives it a softer, larger light source, so it can hit more of my shoulders at a nice diffused level. So I really like that. And then recently, you can see here, I'm holding some black wrap. And what I'm going to be doing is I add the black wrap to this background light. This background light is obviously hitting the backdrop, and you could leave it there. You could just have a, blank light hitting the background backdrop, but it looks really pretty boring. And so I wanted to kind of add a cookie effect. And what a cookie is you'd put something in front of the light with holes in it or cuts through it, and that would give you a nice, interesting dimension to your background light. And this is a really easy way to do it, and that's just to use some black wrap. And I'm not actually creating a real cookie. I'm putting the black wrap around the light and then slowly moving it in to cut the light off. And because these lights aren't a single light source, so each of these lights isn't just one massive source like you would get from the Alzos, these have a ton of little diodes or little LED lights. And what happens is each of those lights creates its own shadow. When you're using black wrap, you get these really cool looking patterns. So you can see I apply it and get it out of the way. And now you can see it's kind of faint here, but it gives this kind of interesting dimension to this light, and it's more than just a big round plain light source. So we have some nice edges, and that'll look really good as a background light. So that's really it. Just a couple little modifications that have really helped me get more out of this space, and I think get some better lighting. So cool stuff. Also, be sure to check out gh4guide.com. There's an email form you can subscribe to, and then before long, I'm going to be having the GH4 guide released. We have a lot getting covered. I'm so excited about this, and I can't wait to deliver it to you. So definitely check out gh4guide.com. And as always, stick around here at DSLR Video Shooter for more tutorials and reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.